Am I waiting for you, Beck, or are you ready?
Yeah. I'm just going to let a few more people come in.
Okay.
And then we'll kick off. Okay, so we'll kick off. I'd just like to introduce Andrew Kay, Blue Mountains Real Fire Service District Office Community Engagement Coordinator. Andrew's going to have a chat to us today about what we can do to get ready and be prepared for bushfires within the Blue Mountains. If you have any questions you'd like to ask Andrew, you'd like to pop them into the Q&A box at the bottom, and I will monitor those for Andrew and he can answer them as we go along, or leave them to the end of the meeting, to the end of the session. Okay, take it away, Andrew.
Thanks, Beck. Good morning, everyone. As mentioned, Andrew Kay is my name. I'm the Community Engagement Coordinator for the Blue Mountains District Office of the New South Wales Rural Fire Service. And I'm looking forward to hopefully giving you a lot of information today around getting ready for the next bushfire season. As Pete touched on already, let's do a little snapshot about Blue Mountains and what we have. So we have 23 brigades in the Blue Mountains, going from Glenbrook-Lapston west to Mount Victoria, north to Bell, and then east to Mount Tomah. Of those brigades, 22 are firefighting brigades and one is a support brigade. We have around 59 firefighting appliances. So they range from bulk water carriers to the large Category 1 tankers that you see on the street, down to the smaller striker class, or the Cat 9 Land Cruisers that we have, carries 450 litres of water. So across the mountains, 59 firefighting appliances. And we have around 2,500 volunteers. Let's see what that's what we're covering off here. So we've got 32,000 private dwellings in the Blue Mountains. There's around 80,000 residents and 5,400 registered businesses. So I guess being prepared is the answer here. We need to, if you do the math, 59 firefighting appliances, 32,000 private dwellings. It's pretty impossible to put a fire truck in every driveway. Our brigades are scattered, as mentioned, across the Blue Mountains. We're ready for short-run fires. When it comes to a campaign fire, obviously we're calling our resources from neighbouring brigades, neighbouring districts, I should say. So we have the capacity. We have 75,000 volunteers across the state. We are the largest volunteer firefighting force in the world. But obviously that takes time to get here. So being prepared is the answer in this space. Let's reflect on what we experienced last season. So we had bushgrass and forest fires. Those numbers were well down on the season before, thank goodness. Approximately 70 incidents occurred through that fire season, none really of consequence, I'm pleased to say. Outside of the fire season, we managed to get a number of hazard reductions away. Of note, there was Linden Creek, Bulls Camp, and Mitchell's Pass. Now, we're working towards getting as many hazard reductions as we can completed. The issues around our workload in that space is the weather. Potentially, there was a guesstimate at one point where we have 42 days of good weather where we can get these hazard reductions away, but we are working towards them. What do we have coming up in the fire season ahead of us? So from the pre-season briefing, the following notes were given to me. The weather outlook is wet through November. So what does that mean? That means we're going to have warmer nights and cooler days. That also means west of the Great Dividing Range, there'll be higher grass and crop fuel loads because they're receiving significant rainfall. As we know, it rains, things grow. But as the rains dissipate and the sun shines and the weather gets warmer, we're going to end up with significant grass fires and potential across the west of the Great Dividing Range. And of course, we are still restricted with COVID-19, and that will influence the way we operate and how we respond to events, planned and unplanned. But how do we prepare for the bushfire season as a resident? Well, you need to have a bushfire survival plan. These are available at the district office. These are available at all brigades, and these are also available online. So If you want to get a bushfire survival plan, get your mobile phones out now, because there's the QR code. Alternatively, you can go to My Fire Plan, put My Fire Plan into your search engine, and you can find it, and you can do it online on your phone. It's very simple. It's very easy to complete. It's vital that you do, and you communicate the bushfire survival plan with your family. So the idea is that you will sit with your household and have a conversation around what does the bushfire, what does it look like if we are impacted by a bushfire? Do we leave? If we leave early, where do we go? What do we take? Who do we tell? How do we get there? If we're going to stay and defend, do we have all the necessary resources that we need, mental, physical, to defend our property from a bushfire? So if you've snapped that code, great. Otherwise, it'll be in the presentation anyway. Preparing for bushfire is easier than you think. The top 5 things to do: trim overhanging trees and shrubs, keep them away from your home. Obviously, keep your lawns and gardens mowed, clear around your house, remove anything flammable from around your home, and clear gutters. I mean, that's obviously a memory slide for all of us in the Blue Mountains, is once we think about bushfires, we think about clearing our gutters. And, you know, in that incident where you may not have an opportunity to leave early, have, you know, hoses that can reach around your home, make sure you have a reliable source of water. And of course, the last line of defense when it comes to preparing for bushfire is insurance. So consider your insurance options, and take them up if you can. You also need to be aware of the bushfire danger meter and the fire danger ratings. Now, these signs exist along the Great Western Highway, along Bells Line of Road, and they give you the daily, effectively, the daily fire danger rating. And you need to understand, or at least get a picture of, what you should do depending on where in that scheme or in that meter the arrow points. So, you know, severe, extreme, and catastrophic. Catastrophic is all bets are off. You need to leave the mountains. You need to be prepared for significant bush fire in the area. Extreme, severe, very high, and low, moderate. So we'll never, even if it was, even if we had 20 mil of rain over the next 4 days, we would never say that there's 0 chance of a bushfire, because, you know, we have lightning strikes and they start fires as well. Another way of being informed is the app. The Fires Near Me app is a great tool to have. And the way it was originally rolled out was that it would have all the information that we have about fires in the state. Now you can actually set a parameter around that, where you are. So you can basically GPS locate your home, and then you can say, you know, I would like to be informed about fires that are 10 kilometres away, 15 kilometres away, up to 50, 70 kilometres away. And you can set that circle. And then what will happen is the phone will actually ping to you to advise you that there is a fire in your area. A great tool, a great way to remain informed. And once you go into that space, you'll see a number of alerts. So once you see that there is a bushfire, there will be an alert symbol next to that. So that alert symbol, these have changed now. So we're actually now, I guess, if you like, lockstep with the rest of Australia now. So this is a national warning system. The three warning levels are advice, watch and act, and an emergency warning. So understanding that those symbols have changed, and obviously understanding what they mean is pretty important as well. So in the preparation of your property, trimming trees, mowing lawns, moving flammables, if you need help, help is at hand. So we have the ADA program. It's available to residents who are infirm, disabled, or elderly and require assistance preparing their property for bushfire. It's no charge to you. It's a one-off program. And should you, a friend, a relative, need more information about the program, give us a call. The phone number's there, 8741494955. You can find us also on the website. What will happen is an assessor will come out, have a look at the works that need to be done, and They'll make arrangements for a number of people to come to your home and do all of those things will take your home from an undefendable space to a defendable space. As mentioned, it's a one-off free service. The idea there is that once we have your home prepared to a defendable space, if you put a couple of dollars aside each week, fortnight, month, when we roll into the next fire season, it may just be that you need to pay someone just to come and clear the gutters or just trim a couple of branches. So it won't be as significant a workload as we've already undertaken to get your property to that level of defendability. The Rural Fire Service has a number of ad campaigns. We've just completed the last one. It was incredibly successful, and now we're rolling into a new one. And the new one is Live Bushfire Ready. We're still sticking with the same slogan of Prepare, Act, Survive, but it's now, the campaign is around Live Bushfire Ready. And as mentioned before, there is an increased risk of grass fires this season. So, pardon me, we need to be aware of that because fire behaviour in grasslands is different to fire behaviour in forest. Fire behaviour in grasslands is very, very fast moving. So our mindsets needs to be tuned into that as well. And let's be honest, there are still patches of large patches of the Blue Mountains that were untouched after the 1920 Black Summer fires. So it just takes a lightning strike somewhere that may create a bushfire for us. But obviously, fingers crossed that it doesn't happen. So if I may, and hopefully this will work, I will play you the new ad that the RFS has just rolled out. You may have already seen it, but we'll all watch it together now, yeah? Oh, went the wrong way. Stand by. See if I can get it to work. Here we go.
There's something about living here. The skies that change right before your eyes. And people that look out for each other. A community that does its bit to plan and prepare to keep everyone safe. Because bushfire is just a part of life here. We've been through it before, and we'll get through it again. We live with bushfire, so we live bushfire ready.
So I think the theme behind this ad campaign is that we've done the preparation, we've done a plan, we have an understanding of bushfire is with us, and now what we're trying to do is learn to live with it, if you like. And then what is it that we need to do and embed in ourselves that we do every pre-season to prepare for fire. So that's pretty much my presentation. I am incredibly quick. It's only been 15 minutes or so. So I'm open to any questions if you have any, or Beck, if there are any questions that come in on the Q&A, please let me know.
Yeah, no, there's nothing in there at the moment. But so if there is any questions that anybody would like to ask Andrew, please feel free to put them into the Q&A box at the bottom there, and we'll address them in the time that we have. Looks like you've done a really good presentation there, Andrew. Doesn't seem like anyone has any questions for you at all.
Outstanding. Well, and obviously, if you do have further questions, Beck's got the email address that you can write to. You can also, oh, there is one in the Q&A.
Yep, I was just about to say we've just had one come through. Are there any resources available for non-elderly people or residents to assess risk, etc.?
To assess risk, you can reach out to your local brigade and have a conversation with them. Brigade members are always happy to come to your home and to give you some advice around what it is that you may need to do to prepare. They won't necessarily assist you in doing that, but they can give you some advice about removing that tree or removing those bushes or whatever it is that you need to do to prepare for bushfire season.
Yep, I think that's it. And yeah, does that answer your question?
I hope so. But I was going to say that the RFS website has an abundance of information. It'll inform you. So the Fires Near Me app, for example, is information on your phone. If you log into our website, you can actually get all the information as well live into your computer or laptop. And there's a raft of information around what you need to do to prepare your home, to prepare yourself, considerations around pets, considerations around if you're traveling, what is it that you need to do if you're traveling through a bushfire area and a fire starts, whether it's four-wheel drive or camping or bushwalking. So there's lots of information there to have you and your family, your friends, prepare for the bushfire season that's coming, and our fingers and toes are crossed that it's going to be a very mild season.
We do have another one here, Andrew. What do you do if your neighbours are resistant to getting ready?
I guess, we live in a democratic society. People can choose to do what they want to do. If you're in a position where you truly believe that there is a significant bushfire threat, let's not necessarily say it's a neighbour. Let's say you abut national parks or council land and it's a bit overgrown or whatever. You can reach out to the district office and we can take what's called a hazard complaint and assess the bushfire risk against the Environmental Assessment Code. Now that will look for a significant bushfire risk. However, a tree in a neighbour's yard will never effectively be deemed as a significant bushfire risk, but it is in your mind, in a resident's mind. My first port of call is to have a conversation with your neighbour to see if you can get them to, maybe they need assistance. Maybe you can help them in preparing their property. Maybe they need guidance, or maybe, English may not be their first language. They may be new to the area and not have an understanding, a strong understanding of what being bushfire prepared is. So my first instinct would be to suggest that you speak to your neighbour, try to have that conversation, because let's face it, if you do lodge a hazard complaint, whilst your information is confidential, we do notify the complainant that there is a complaint been lodged against them, and we are going to do an assessment, and that may lead to 20 years of that neighbour never wanting to speak to you again. So I know it's a tender way to step, but my first instinct is to honestly suggest try talking to the neighbour first.
Okay, well, that looks like all the questions. Yeah, there doesn't seem to be any more coming through. So I guess we can finish up a little bit early, and if you want to go and grab a cup of coffee or something in between the next session, feel free to run out and grab a cuppa. We will have the next session open and ready to go at 10:45, which is about 10 minutes. So we'll give you 10 minutes break to go and grab a cup of coffee. Thank you very much, Andrew. Any other questions? As Andrew said, you can contact the district office or send them through to the Get Ready Blue Mountains email address, and we'll send them on to Andrew and get them addressed for you. So thank you very much for your attendance, and we'll see you back in the next room. Thank you.
Thank you.